Hi, so today we're learning how to draft this beautiful two-step gown. As you can see, it's looking so beautiful, and please keep watching. Thank you so much. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today we'll be drafting a two-step gown with a crinoline. Yes, so the materials I'm using is this are my basic bodies. I have a video on how I drafted this. It's so detailed. Please, you can check on my previous video and watch it so that you will understand what we're doing here. So I have my fabric. I'm working on this fabric. Is a poly fabric and it's 2 yards, and also my crinoline of 3 inches. So the next thing we'll be doing is we'll be looking at how do we cut the down part. Remember that the down part is a two-step. So how do we cut the down part? How do we get the waist? How do we cut the step? So please, I'd like us to pay attention on this aspect. Now the waist I'm working on is 18. So 18, I'll be timesing the waist by 4. Now you can times the waist with whatever number you want. You can times it by 2, by 3, but me, I'm using 4. So 18 times 4 gives me 72. Okay, so that will be the width of my fabric. That will be the width of the waist of what I will be marking. So it's 72. Okay, so that's what I'll be marking on my fabric on the waist. That's the width. Okay, now the half length is 10 and the full length is 21. So how do I get the steps? How do I get the down part? That's the steps. Now what I'll do is, since the full length is 21, so 21 minus 10, which is the half length, is 11. So 11 plus my crinoline, you have to add the crinoline. You can 3 inch, but here I'm using 3 inches. So 11 plus 3 is 14. Okay, so 14 plus 0.5 to join the crinoline is 14.5, plus another 0.5 again to join it to the half length is 15 inches. Okay, so what I'll be marking for the second step is 15 inches. Okay, so I'll just spray out my fabric. I've already folded. So this length, like this length now, I measured 72. Okay, this length I measured 72. I'm going to repeat it again. I measured 72. So remember that we calculated 15. Calculated 15 inches. So what I'm going to do now is to mark 15 inches from this part. I'll mark 15. I'm going to be marking 15 for the second step. I'll mark 15 inches and I'll mark 15 inches. Okay, that will be the second step. Now I'll check this 15 and this is 15. This is 15 inches. Okay, then I'll cut. This will be for the second step. Remember that we've added our crinoline, and in doing this, you add your crinoline. If you are using 2 inches, okay, you add the measurement that you got. So I've cut the second layer, which is 15. You know something that is difficult. This is for the second layer, and I'll move this. I'll just set this aside. And for the first layer, what I'll be doing is, I want the first layer to be shorter than the second layer by just 2 inches. So 15 inches minus 2 will give me 13. Okay, so I'll mark 13. I'll come to this part and I'll mark 13 also. This 13. This is 13. Let's get this aside and I'll cut. I hope you can see. I'll cut. Remember that this fabric is thick, so you have to just take your time, okay, to cut. So I've cut the first layer, and this is our second and first layer. Okay, then the next thing I'll be doing, I'm setting this aside. The next thing I'll be doing is I will work on the back first, the back neckline. Now work on the back neckline. So for the back neckline, I will come down by this zipper allowance, this part. I'll come down by 1 inch. So I mark 1 inch for my zipper allowance. So I'll come down by 1 inch is for my button, because I want the back to have a button here. And then I want the back to have a love back. So what I'm going to do is, from this part, from this 1 inch, I'll come down by 4 inches. I don't want it to be too deep on the child. And then I'll mark 1 inch. I'll mark 1 inch. I'll mark 1 inch. Can you see? And I'll use my free hand to just curve it. I use my free hand to just curve it in. Can you see? And also this part, and then I'll cut. Can you see? And this is my back. This is our back. This is the front, and this is. So I've placed my fabric on. So I'll be cutting the front part now. So I'll just pin this. I have this fabric that's remaining, so I'll just pin. I'll pin it so the paper will not be shaking. So I'll cut. And then I'll cut the neck. As you can see, I left the sewing allowance of 1/2 inches here. So I'll cut. So I'll be cutting 2 of this, the back on this, and I'll pin it. I'll pin so the paper will not be moving. Please pin, no pin. I'll pin, and then I'll cut. I'm cutting the back now. Okay, and then I'll cut this part, leaving the sewing allowance of 1/2 inch. Just take your time out. Just cut. And also I'll come to this part at the neckline and cut. And then I'll cut this part. Can you see? Okay. And I'll place this because I need 2. Because I'll be using the same fabric for my lining. Okay, you can get a lining, but I think I prefer using the same fabric for my lining. It gives this kind of neat and it looks so good on the inside. If you are using a poly, but if you're not using a poly, you can get your own color of lining. So I'll cut, and then I'll cut the neckline and the shoulder. Can you see? Now I'll move my pins. Can you see? This is a front pattern. I'll be using this for the lining and the main fabric. Okay, so I've placed this on it. So the next time we need to remove pattern paper, and I'll cut. I'll place the back. I need the back also for my lining. This same material also for my lining. I'm using the same material for my back lining. So I'll cut. And I'll cut this part. Just take your time. As it's always good to pin. So I've pinned, now it's not moving. And I'll cut this part, the neckline, and then I'll cut the shoulder. And the next thing I'll be doing now is to slit this part, to slit the zipper part. This part, I'll slit it. Can you see? I'll slit that part, and also slit this part, and then for the bottom part, I'll slit this also, and also this part. And here is how it will look like. So I have 2. This will be for the main, and this will be for the lining. I'll use this for the lining, and this will be the main fabric, and this will be for the lining. Okay, so you can get a lining for it, a match colored lining for it. For me, I choose to use the same fabric because it gives that beauty inside when you finish your sewing. And this is the front pattern. This is the front fabric. This is the front. This will be for the main bodies, and this will be for the lining. So I will bring the down part also. This is the down part. Added at 3 inches. So if you are any inches of crinoline that you're using, add it. If you are using 2, you add. If you are using any one that you're using, just make sure that you add it to your measure, because if you don't add and you put your crinoline and you sew, it will be short. Okay, so what you just have length from the full length. Whatever you have, if you are using 2 inches of a crinoline or 1 inch or 3 inches, add it. Whatever you have, add 1 inch to it. Like mine, I got 11. It's 21 minus 10 is 11. 11 plus my 3 inches. If you are using 2 inches, you add it. Okay, then whatever you have, add 1 inch to it. 0.5 inches for joining this crinoline for joining the crinoline to the fabric, and 0.5 inches for joining it to the upper part. You will get everything will come out perfectly well, like perfectly okay. So thank you so much for watching. In our next video, I'll be showing you how to sew this, how we can sew our crinoline to the down parts, how to sew the upper parts, and how to do, in fact we'll be sewing it in our next video. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video.